Many of us Sony shooters own the 16-35mm f4 wide-angle lens, and when looking to upgrade to a faster lens, some of us may start considering the Tamron 17-28 f2.8. In this video, I share with you my thoughts after making the switch. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bernard and welcome to my channel. Recently, I got myself the Tamron 17-28 f2.8 lens, and after using it for a couple of jobs, I am ready to make a recommendation between the two lenses. Instead of the traditional product review video, I'm going to make my recommendations first and then justify my answer with the reasons after. So my recommendation is, if you shoot outdoors majority of the time, go for the Sony 16-35mm f4 lens because that is the much more versatile focal range. However, the Tamron does have a few perks on its own to make it competitive. So who is the Tamron lens for? I would say it's meant for people who shoot indoors or in low light situations frequently. In exchange for that versatile focal range, you do get an extra stop of light. Here is an example of a bad lighting situation. On the Tamron, I am using an ISO of 500 to get a proper exposure. To get the same exposure on the Sony lens, I have to crank my ISO up to 1000. It probably doesn't make much of a difference in this scenario, but in a room darker than this, that extra stop of light might come in really handy. Another group of people that should really consider the Tamron lens are people who shoot on gimbals very frequently. As the Tamron zooms internally, you don't have to rebalance the gimbal when changing the focal length. It's true that most gimbals are strong enough to handle the change in weight when you change focal lengths on the Sony. However, I do find that it puts a little strain on the gimbal. Now, let's move on to the questions that I had for myself before making the switch. Which lens has the better image quality? Here is a video clip for comparison. To me, from a videographer's perspective, there isn't much of a difference between the two, which is why my recommendation for the lens was based more on your shooting conditions. Let's now talk about the bokeh. At such a wide angle, is the bokeh even significant enough to be a consideration factor? Personally, I use the wide angle lens to capture action shots or establishing shots of locations. Therefore, background blur isn't really a concern for me. But for those bokeh lovers, here's a comparison. This is the Tamron at 17mm at f2.8, and this is the Sony at 16mm at f4. This is the Tamron at 28mm at f2.8, and this is the Sony at 35mm at f4. Last but not least, let's talk about autofocus. The autofocus works really well on both lenses in both photo and video mode. They both perform equally well, so I don't favor one over the other. In conclusion, I do not regret making the switch from the Sony lens to the Tamron lens because for my work, I shoot weddings and real estate a lot, so that extra stop of light is really useful in helping me getting a cleaner image. Yes, I did have to sacrifice the extra reach, but I can make up for that by having another mid-range zoom in my camera bag. The focal range of the Tamron is not a total deal breaker, and I guess I can live with the hassle of having to change lenses. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's it for today, it's a wrap!